to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
That was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu being booed at Hostage Square in Tel Aviv. There were 400,000 people who were there yesterday. Steve Witkoff was giving a speech, and the boos rained down in Israel when he mentioned Netanyahu. I want to talk more about that, and I want to talk more about what's going on in that region, but I think it's important to discuss what Donald Trump's been doing over the past 24 hours, as well as he continues to behave in just such a dastardly, despicable, and frankly imbecilic way. The White House official account is posting this. This is their message during the government shutdown as Donald Trump spent yet another day golfing on the taxpayer dime. This is a real post. We are doubling down with like a weird kind of scribbled smiley face. We see you, we hear you, but thanks to Democrat shutdown, we're doubling down. Flame emoji. You're doubling down on ripping away people's health care. That's the message coming from the official White House account. How demeaning and how embarrassing to our country. 20 million Americans are about to lose their health care. That's what's being posted from the official government account during the shutdown from the White House account. Then they post Elmo wearing a sombrero hat meme in the flames. Again, is this supposed to be funny? Like, do y'all think this is humorous? Because it is not funny at all. And the behavior, again, it's weird, it's cringy, it's mean, it's dangerous. Here's the photo of Donald Trump golfing yesterday at his course on the taxpayer dime. Just more vacationing for Donald Trump. What's happening, though, in the United States? Yes, there's a government shutdown. We know that the markets basically crashed on Friday. There was a crypto crash. You know how Donald Trump says, I'm the crypto president. Crypto lost more money on Friday than it ever has in the history of crypto, period, full stop. $19 billion were liquidated on Friday. I mean, you had people's entire life savings in crypto wiped out on Friday. And that came on the news that China was putting these export controls on rare earth minerals, on these REEs, rare earth elements, as they continue to put the screws into Donald Trump, as Donald Trump's trade war was sloppy, not well thought out, went in alone, has no logic to it, is crippling American farmers who are going bankrupt, construction, manufacturing recessions taking place, tourism recession taking place right now in the United States. 23 states are in recessionary conditions right now. And so the crypto market collapsed, slight rebound, but again, $19 billion liquidated in one day, by far the worst day in crypto history. The markets tanked as well. We saw the Dow, the NASDAQ, and the S&P anywhere from kind of 2 to 3% decreases. And one of the things also, when you just look at the market right now, when people talk about how the market's like a bubble, because regular Americans are suffering right now, like are living paycheck to paycheck. We have the highest credit card delinquencies. Over 6 million student loan borrowers are in default, meaning their credit has been destroyed and they're not going to be able to like rent properties or lease cars without co-signers now, as they are in kind of default territory. Worst housing market since like 1995. I mean, a ton of bad data points, but you're like, but Ben, the stock market was doing good. It's a bubble. 80% of stock market growth is coming from AI companies. 80% are coming from AI companies. And when you look at what's happening here, Robert Reich has this graph here. AI companies are spending billions on deals with each other, which boosts their value. So this has helped 20 billionaires tied to artificial intelligence add $450 billion to their fortunes in 2025. Meanwhile, an MIT study found that 95% of companies using AI haven't seen return on investment. So if you look at this graph right here, you see NVIDIA in the middle, then you see Intel, CoreWave, Oracle, Figure AI, Mistral, AMD, OpenAI. They're all doing deals with each other that they announce like every other day and then pump up their stock price. That's really what we've been seeing without the concomitant returns. The AI bubble is now 17 times bigger than the dot-com boom bubble and 4 times larger than the subprime crisis. Again, I'm just delivering the data for you. But meanwhile, Donald Trump on his social media posting the following. He says, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. He doesn't even explain what he's even talking about here. Under Sleepy Joe, he says, ice cream break, $100 billion. Then it says, during Trump, $1 trillion. Don't worry, we will survive. Trump is now president. That's Donald Trump's slogan. Trump's slogan, to be clear, went from make America great again to don't worry, we will survive. This is his post. Don't worry, we will survive. Wow. Meanwhile, I don't even know what the data he's trying to reflect there, but back in the real world, right? The MeidasTouch network, I like to bring the receipts and bring us to, yes, real world. Foreclosures continue to rise across the U.S. These 10 metro areas are hit the hardest. Foreclosures have surged across the U.S. and are up 20% from this time last year. As Nick Gerli writes, we literally have the worst homebuyer demand on record, according to the National Association of Realtors Pending Sales Index. The worst homebuyer demand on record right now. And Donald Trump continues to say that he's brought in $17 trillion. You know from watching the MeidasTouch network, I've made a very big deal. I've been screaming from the rooftops now for months about his claim that he brought in $17 trillion. Not just because we know it's fraudulent and it's a lie, but it's just so utterly malicious because while we're in a government shutdown, as Donald Trump has fired another 5,000 workers in the past 48 hours, as they claim they've run out of money so that they can't even ensure that you can have affordable health care, they will subsidize the billionaires and give massive tax cuts for more private jets and yachts. But when it comes to extending Affordable Care Act subsidies to just keep your health care within a price that you may be able to pay, because the moment those subsidies go away, you know what happens. You're going to have to pay $2,500 to $3,000 a month for your health care premiums. Who the hell can do that? No one can do that. But then what does Trump and MAGA say? Oh, we don't have the money. We don't have the money for that. Sorry, nothing we can do. So if you claim you have $17 trillion, which you claim is on a tariff shelf, right? When Trump talks about $17 trillion, what does he say? That we brought it in from tariffs from other countries, even though that's not the way tariffs work. And it's on a shelf, a tariff shelf, which is the stupidest thing, the most moronic way of framing what the hell is going on. But then when you actually break down what's happening, so Daniel Dale from CNN finally did the fact check. Dude loves fact checking everything else, but finally doing the fact check on this outrageous claim. The White House then said that it's actually $8.8 trillion in potential investments that the countries that are claimed to be investing this money don't even confirm. Let me give you an example. Part of the 8.8 trillion number, not the 17 trillion, is 1 trillion that comes from Qatar, Qatar's entire annual GDP is $166 billion. So if your GDP annually is $166 billion, how are you contributing $1 trillion? Same thing, UAE, $1 trillion. They factor in like $500 billion in bilateral trade with India. There's no trade deal there. Saying 600, 700 billion from Japan, 700 billion from companies in Europe, just making up fake numbers on the $8.8 trillion number, yet alone the $17 trillion number. And so American people are really suffering while he's coming up with these fraudulent numbers right here. Heck, even Marjorie Taylor Greene is confirming what's really going on. She just did this podcast. And to her credit, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm not giving her credit for a lot of things, but she's saying, look, prices have not come down. This is on the most recent appearance that she just gave. Here, play this clip.
Prices have not come down at all.
The job market is weakening.
Job market is still extremely difficult.
Right.
Wages have not gone up. Health insurance premiums are going to go up. Car insurance goes up every year. People's homeowners insurance goes up. Rent is going up. Young people have no hope of buying a home. And then when they try to buy a home, they end up, like I said, they end up competing with like Blackstone or somebody else.
The average home buyer now is 38 years old. It just came out.
Right.
The average home buyer, 38.
And here's Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about how tariffs are harming American companies. Here, play this clip.
But we're having problems with these tariffs. And now we're having problems. We can't get supplies from this country and we can't get supplies from this country. And there's problems. But have regular people's bank accounts been affected? Has the stress come off? No, that has not happened yet. And that needs to be the major focus. It shouldn't be about helping your crypto donors or your AI donors or welcoming in these people that hated you and spent money to try to beat you, but all of a sudden are excited to come out to the new Rose Garden patio.
Yes.
That shouldn't be the focus.
Now, despite the fact that Tricia McLaughlin, the top spokesperson for the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem's right-hand fascist, says, this WGN producer, Debbie Brockman, was arrested for throwing objects at law enforcement. Nope, actually, there's no charges being brought against her. The witness account said she did nothing ahead of her arrest at all. Just again, a total and utter fabrication by the Trump regime. It's just lie after lie after lie, and it's dastardly and despicable lies as well coming from the Trump regime. Now, seeing what's happening from ICE agents as well. Have you seen this one? They attack a 15-year-old girl, and the 15-year-old little girl starts screaming and saying, "What are you doing? I'm a 15-year-old girl. Like, get off of me, get off of me." Have you seen this one right here? Here, play this clip.
I can't hear people. It's just all back there.
And that's what's going on in the United States of America right now. As Joshua Reed Eakle says, whether this girl was a citizen, a legal resident, or undocumented is irrelevant. Whether she was perfectly law-abiding or accused of a crime is irrelevant. A grown man kneeling on the neck of a 15-year-old girl who wasn't resisting is beyond the pale, an act indefensible under any circumstance. Anyone who hasn't lost their humanity knows this. And that's what I talk about over and over again, basic humanity. So I want to give a hat tip to my friend on the MeidasTouch network, Sandy Bacon. We've been working with Sandy a lot. Sandy, as you may know, is a video journalist, and she's in that federal courthouse, and she gets us these videos almost every day about what's really going down. Shout out Sandy, a true hero, a true patriot. She's in that federal courthouse in New York, 26 Federal Plaza. Here's what she just recently videotaped what went down there as these ICE agents wait in the halls for individuals seeking asylum. Here, play this clip.
Make a hole, 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 make a hole. Hey, hey.
lleven a mi madre, llévenme a mí, por favor. Mis hijos son. Por favor, llévenme a mi madre, por favor.
Señora, coja a los niños. Coja a los niños.
Por favor, él es el único que me ve. Él es el único que nos ve a nosotros. Solo nos ve él. Nosotros no tenemos a nadie. Él nos ve a nosotros. No le lleven. ¿Dónde me voy a preguntar? ¿Dónde me voy a preguntar? Ayúdame, por favor. Él es el único que me... Por favor, ayúdeme. No, yo no me voy sin él. Ayúdeme, por favor. Ayúdeme, él es el único que nos ve a nosotros. Ayúdame, por favor. ¿Qué pasa? No seas malito, por favor. Él es el único que nos ve, somos los cuatro. No nadie más, por favor, tómame. No, mis hijos, no, mis hijos.
Now, finally, that brings me to where we started with this video, which is what went down in Tel Aviv when Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's envoy to Russia, and I guess everywhere else, was there with Jared Kushner and Ivanka, and he mentions this peace deal, which is actually a ceasefire. I want to talk more about that because once again, the media is buying into Donald Trump's framing, which is entirely the wrong way to look at this. And that's why I know you watch the MeidasTouch Network, because we have to talk about what's really happening here. So Witkoff thanks Netanyahu for getting a peace deal done, and the people in Tel Aviv in Israel booing Netanyahu. And I want to remind you that most weekends, this same crowd of 300, 400,000 people would go to this hostage square and they would be protesting Netanyahu, and they would be blaming Netanyahu's behavior, rightfully so, for the atrocities being committed in Gaza and for the inability to return the hostages. And they were putting it on Netanyahu. Obviously, Hamas is completely to blame for what happened on October 7th. And obviously, it's a terrorist organization that needs to be dismantled. Absolutely full stop. The people in Israel, though, at least in Tel Aviv, or some of them, were recognizing the atrocities being committed in Gaza and protesting Netanyahu. I think it's an important point that doesn't get enough attention, because so much here in the United States is somehow framed, oh, if you don't support Netanyahu, that must make you anti-Semitic. And quite the contrary. We should be able to stand up against what Netanyahu's doing, call out the atrocities in Gaza, and then we can also, of course, say return the hostages. But we have to recognize a basic humanity, and that when you see innocent Palestinians being killed, you have to speak up and you have to do something and you have to use your platform. So let me just show you what was said over here with Witkoff. Here, play this clip.
To Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Oh. Okay. To Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, let me just finish my thought. I was in the trenches, guys. Let me just finish my thought. I was in the trenches with the Prime Minister. Believe me, he was a very important part here. the Prime Minister and his staff, Ron Dermer included, have both. Okay, okay. Have both sacrificed so much for this country and devoted their lives to the service of Israel. Their dedication to the history and destiny of this nation stands out tonight. They've given everything, their time, their energy, and their hearts, to building a safer, stronger future for the Jewish people.
Okay. Now, finally, what I want, you heard the booing, and Witkoff couldn't even get his sentence out. So where I want to leave us, though, with is this is yet another example of the media buying into a Trump framework, right? Donald Trump is saying there's a peace deal. But when Trump was asked at the end of last week, do you believe in a two-state solution? Donald Trump said, I don't know. You're going to have to ask the people who did the deal. Well, aren't you claiming you did the deal? And fundamentally, if you don't believe in a two-state solution, then what do you believe in? It would seem that you actually believe in no free Palestine. So I'll tell you where I stand on the issue. There should be a free Palestine. Simple. And there should be a free Israel. And there should live side by side in peace. That has not been able to be achieved for decades and decades and decades and decades. There have been lots of ceasefires, okay? Because that's what this is. This is a ceasefire. So to applaud Trump, look, it'll be great when the hostages get back. 100%. Absolutely. 120 were returned under Biden. Every time he did it, he wasn't like, look at me, I'm the greatest. Throw parties for me. I want a Nobel Peace Prize. Because the hard work isn't announcing a deal. The hard work is putting in the work to then get it done and to create the peace. So when Trump says, I don't have a view or a perspective on a two-state solution, he's already kind of giving away the game. So what happens after phase one? We already know Hamas views this deal very differently than Israel views this deal. What happens after the announcement of the deal, after the phase one, after the exchange? What happens then? And that to me is never thought out, ever, by the Trump regime, ever. And I think that's a big problem here. They haven't defined what that even is, other than Donald Trump posting AI images of himself and Netanyahu dancing with half-naked girls and calling it Trump Gaza. Like that's, remember when they did that a while ago? So again, everyone's, peace deal. We all want peace, but it's a ceasefire is what it is. And then hopefully, and there have been ceasefires before. There have been dozens of ceasefires before, going back historically. Never before has there been a ceasefire and someone says, I want a Nobel Peace Prize for it, you know? Anyway, it's a long morning video, but I had a lot to get off my chest this morning. So let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million, and thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to add the MeidasTouch podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts for new updates every single day.